Creating and submitting assignments. This training walks through the process of creating assignments for teachers. It also shows how students can submit assignments with electronic documents. A YouTube video has been created specifically for students that goes into more detail. That can be found on our YouTube channel listed below. There are a number of ways in the system to create an assignment. From your home screen, there's your class list. These are kind of all the ways to get to the new assignment. I know there's a lot. You can do the new assignment button on the lesson plan. You can go to Teaching Tools, New Assignment. On the dashboard, there's a jump button right here, or the grade book, and then New Assignment. This is the screen that we saw. Name is the only thing. Name and due date are really the only required fields. But if you want a video, you can add that. If you want online turn-in, you can check that. And then when you add, sorry about that, I'm jumping around here. When you add materials, you have a variety of options for that. We do have a separate file we'll hand out on just how these three buttons work. So basically everywhere you use them, you can kind of go over that. And then you specify what type of editing is done. And if you try to hand it out to students and it doesn't allow online turn-in, you will be prompted to fix that. To remove a document, click the X. To add standards, click Add Standards, and then drag them over here. You will have every standard to grade in your grade book. So, typically, unless it's a big summative assignment, you want to, keep it to a couple standards. And then the gradebook information, it has a gradebook abbreviation. By default, this is the name of the assignment, but this is what shows up in the top part of the grid. And sometimes teachers like to have a very short version so it doesn't get cut off. Gradebook category, some schools set these up on their own, but for the Diocese of Columbus, these are set up for you and you're asked not to change them. And then the marking term, by default, it picks the term in the due date. However, sometimes people want to create an assignment for the next term in the previous term, like right when you get to the very end, it might be due the day before the term ends, but you really want this to appear like it's second quarter, but you want it to appear in third quarter. This is where it's going to appear for the purpose of grading. Standards, there is a count, and you can put it in a mode where it shows standards that are not taught in red, or not targeted, taught or assessed, sorry. But no, it does not change color really. Okay, if you want to post this assignment to multiple classes, if you have multiple sections, you just hit add class, add class, add class, pick the class. You can change the due date for each class, and you can change who it's assigned to. To change the due date or the publish date for a specific group or set of sections, click the text that says due and the date. It's circled on the picture on the right. You'll see a pop-up that lets you change the publish date or to remove the publish date or to change the due date, and that will only apply to that section or that group of students. When you're done with that, press the close button. To change which students are assigned a given assignment, click the text that says Assigned to All Students. This will pop up a screen that will let you select individual students. You can also select lesson plan groups or saved groups. When you click that button, you'll see the screen on the right. To select students, check off the names of the students from the student list on the left. They will move over to the area that says Assigned Students on the right, just as the red arrow indicates. If you want to remove a student, you can uncheck them, or you can press the X to remove that student from the group. If you have lesson plan groups, you can expand the group and select that group to select those students. You can select more than one group, and it will just combine all the students from those groups into the assigned students area. If you would like to save their group for future use, press the Create Group button after you have selected the students that you want in that group. You will be prompted to give the group a name, and then they will show up under the Saved Group area. In this case, I named this group Group A. In the future, you can select these students by simply checking Group A. A couple of things to note about these groups. First of all, you can select more than one group. It will just combine all of the students from all of the different groups and put them under the assigned students list. After you select a group, you can add additional students or remove students. It will not change who's in that group. Once a group is created, it isn't changed. The only thing you can do is delete the group. And if you're selecting students on the left and you select all of the students from a given group, when you expand the Save Groups area, you'll see that that group is selected. So as long as all of the students in the group are in the Assigned Students area, that group will show up as selected. So groups are a way of building your assignment, but they're not exclusive to an assignment. And again, if you don't need a group anymore, hit the X next to the name to delete it. For the purpose of testing this, we need to be able to submit work. So we're going to have to know how to submit it. Also, you're going to want to be able to teach this to your students, so you'll want to know how to submit work. So when the student logs in, they see their dashboard. They'll see 3 upcoming assignments here. If it's upcoming is due in the next 5 days, or if they click on the course, they'll see how many are open in the assignment list. Or if they just click the assignment list, they'll see the assignment. So a variety of ways. This shows all open, and it gives the name, the subject, if there's a file attached, what have you. And then you can click the assignment for more details. So it expands, shows the due date, the category, the points, instructions. If there was a video, that would show side by side as we saw. This is where students can ask a question even before they turn it in. They just type it and hit this. You will see that on your dashboard when you log in blue. We saw that when we went through the dashboard. You'll also see it on your assignment list, and you will see it in your gradebook. So on the comment list, the whole dialogue will be there. I found this to be very helpful when you're going back and forth with kids, because it reminds you, what they asked about, what you told them, all that kind of stuff. Every file that is attached that you say students get their own copy can be edited somehow. Okay. If it's a Google Doc, you can edit it with Google. If it's a Microsoft Office doc, like Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, the students will have the option to edit it with Google, and it will upload it, convert it, and open it in Google, and then they can edit it that way. Everything, whether it's a Google Doc or an Office doc or a PDF or an image or a scan of a thing, can be edited with the DA with our editor. And our editor is a markup editor. It puts text on top of the document. It puts drawings on top of the document. If you have a scan of a worksheet, our markup editor is a great way to edit that. But I also realize for a lot of things, using Google is a good way. You can also add a link. I believe that's one of these options under Add File, and link off to it. So anything that any website you can link to, you can reference. But as far as editing it in our system, it has to be some sort of a physical attachment. Okay, so if they do edit it with DA, they get a number of tools over on the left: a pen, text tool. Those are the most common ones. And when they're done, they hit save and close, and it's submitted. There it is. They can zoom in and out. We already talked about the ask a question box. And the important thing is to submit my work. Now, we've redesigned this. So, and I feel in this new design, the submit my work is very prominent. And we've also really simplified how this looks. Okay. You will want to go over with your students this process, because if they don't submit it, then you really don't get a notification that work is waiting to be graded. Now, yeah, if a student can leave this and come back and hit edit for as long as they want, and it's not submitted. Also, ours does let them resubmit, and that's controlled by that allow late assignments flag that we talked about. So if allow late assignments is off, they can't submit after the due date. Now keep in mind, it doesn't matter if they turned anything in or not. Like, so a lot of times, like last year, we had teachers who turned it off thinking that they didn't want to deal with late submissions, but the kid did all the work, he just never submitted it, and then he couldn't submit it, and then it didn't get graded, and it got marked as missing, and it created a lot of angst. And so it's, you know, they need to either know that, or you just need to be aware that you're probably going to have some upset people calling. The DA editor does not save as you go. You do need to save it. That concludes this video on creating assignments and on submitting assignments for students. For a video on how to grade assignments, please go to the Help menu on the Gradebook. You can also email support@digitalacademy.org or go to our YouTube channel for additional videos. Thank you.